Alrighty, folks, welcome to episode 34 of the New Favorite Things podcast. Today we're going to talk about a communication collaboration tool called Padlet. And Padlet's kind of like a giant sticky note board. So if you go to padlet.com and then sign in with Google, we'll go ahead and walk through that process. Padlet.com. We're going to go and click Login. I'm going to log in with Google, authenticate. And now I'm going to have this option of different Padlets that I'm either a part of or that I have created myself. So I'm going to create a new Padlet today. I'm going to click on Make a Padlet. So it says that my Padlet limit is reached. Padlet costs $8 a month, but you can have the free version if you want. And keeping that free version, you can just archive different Padlets that you've already made. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to archive this one. And I'm going to create a new Padlet. So now I've got all of these different options. So a Padlet wall is going to be a place where teachers or students, depending on who you're using this with, can come in and they can just put in a sticky note. So the title here, maybe my Padlet title here is "Tell me what you did this past summer." And then teachers or students, depending on who your audience is, can come in and they can use Padlet and they can put in a title. So maybe my name is Jason Polano. I'm going to write down, I went to Phoenix, Arizona. You can add in pictures. So you can put in your own picture. You can go ahead and you can attach images from the web. You can upload images as well. So this is one of the different platforms that you can use Padlet for. But then you can also come in here and you can change the kind of Padlet that you want this to be. So you'll come in here and click Change Format. And instead of it being a wall, maybe I want it to be a stream. So now all of these are going to line up in one row. So this would be good if you had just one single option. So maybe for Jennifer Polano, I had to go to Phoenix in the middle of June. Thanks, hubby. Okay, so these are all going to tile up on top of each other. If I come in here and I change the format again, maybe I want it to be a grid. So now these are going to arrange in different rows, kind of something easier to see. If I go to change format again, I can put it in a shelf. So a shelf is kind of a nice way where you can have this question be, what did you do this summer? And then maybe this question could be, what did your kids do this summer? So this is a really easy way that you can also do exit tickets with your students. So you can look at this as an assessment tool. So maybe you ask a question here, and then you ask a question here, and then you can keep adding these columns of questions. Students just come in, and I like to have my students or the staff that I use Padlets with, they'll put their name as the title, and then they can write something down here. But Padlet is also self-updating. So as students write things, they do get put up onto Padlet. So maybe I'm going to come in, I'm going to modify again. I want to change the format. This time I want to do a back channel. So now this becomes like a communication environment. So I can come in here now and I can type in, that sounds so much fun. So you can think about this kind of like maybe I'm lecturing and maybe I'm doing something in the front of my class and I want to create this back channel so that my students can comment to one another, ask questions, clear up one another's things that they might not understand. So this would be a great resource to use as a communication tool for your students. Maybe I want to come in here. I want to change my format again. Maybe I want to do a map. So here's going to be, where did you go this past summer? So maybe I can come in here and I can click on Phoenix, Arizona. And then I can say Jason Polano. So now I have kind of a visual representation of where my students have been, or maybe I'm using this for geography lessons or any sort of social studies or ELA to identify the plot and location of a story. I can come in here and I can change my format again. This time I want to do a canvas. So now they're going to be arrangeable in any different place that you want them to be. So I'm going to put in here. My new one's down here. Yes, it was. Okay. And then these can just be arranged kind of willy-nilly. And then the last one is a timeline. So you can maybe give your students the opportunity to arrange different points in time along that timeline and come in here and then drop in another note that in between the Declaration of Independence being signed and in between the US Constitution being ratified, that blah, 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 blah happened. So Padlet's something that really easy that students can use. If I come in here to my settings, okay, you can turn on comments. So now students can comment on each other's posts, kind of make this more of a collaborative social media type of environment. You can also do reactions where you can have students like one another's comments or vote them up or vote them down or give them stars or give some sort of grading system. So maybe this is going to be used as like a peer assessment tool. You can require approval. So if there are some students in your class that you don't trust to be able to post on the Padlet, you can require approval. Now you would have to approve every single post that comes up here on this Padlet, so be careful with that. And then you can also filter profanity if you also have that student that you don't entirely trust to be appropriate. You can modify your Padlet with different backgrounds, pictures. You can also change the fonts. Comic Sans is one that's really good for students with dyslexia. It's easy for them to read. And then you can also identify who attributed these posts. Now, be very careful with this though, because it does require students to sign in. If they're not signed in, they can still comment on here and it will say anonymous. So that's why I always kind of just say to my students or the staff that I'm working with, go ahead and put your name on the Padlet as the title and then leave your comment in the description. So once you're ready to work with your students or with your staff, you can click Share or Embed. You can change the privacy of Padlet so that it's a secret Padlet, meaning only the people that I share the link with can do it. Maybe I want it to be password protected, or I want it to be public where it can be searched and found, or I can even be private where only the people that I specifically invite to be a collaborator would be able to change or write on this Padlet. When I'm ready to go, I can copy my link to my clipboard. I can post that in Seesaw or Google Classroom or any of my other learning management platforms. Okay. And then if I'm ever ready to kind of move on from this Padlet, archive it, I can come in here and I can click on Export. Clicked on the wrong thing. I can come in here and I can click on Export. And I can choose to export it as a PDF or as a JPEG. For some reason, the export button is not working right now. Oh, there's the export. So I can come down here, I can save it as an image or save it as a PDF or as a spreadsheet. I've done this with staff where we do like a big collaborative brainstorm at the end of a PD, and then I save it as a PDF and I send it to the staff afterwards and say, all right, here's all the things that you guys came up with, some really good resources for you guys as well. I hope this was helpful. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Coach Polano and at GISD Tech 2, and we'll see you guys next time.